about 10 minutes before, probably about 7 minutes before the stream, just so I could get acquainted and so that you could see my natural reaction for this video itself. So, what's my take on it? So, we're introduced to a couple of characters. Now, if you haven't read the one shot for for Marvel Zombies Resurrection, basically, just a quick recap. The superheroes see Galactus is coming, so they go out in space. Some of their most powerful members go out to space, and what they find is a hollow version of Galactus that's been kind of mauled and hollowed out from the inside out. And what they see is a whole bunch of other characters. Now, not in this book. Prior to this was a one shot, and that's the one I'm referencing. So in the beginning of this book, just to show you a couple of panels and pages, this is a 1 out of 4, meaning that it's a short run and we'll see what happens. They may have side stories depending on how popular the book gets, right? So we're introduced to Spider-Man and also Valeria and Franklin Richards. And what's happening is that they're escaping the horde of different zombies that are pursuing them at this moment. And one of the things that Franklin acts, right? Um, is he says, "Can you go back for my mom and for my dad, for the rest of the family, right? Human Torch and Thing." And Spider-Man says that your parents asked me to take care of you and Valerie, right? His sister. And that's what I'm gonna do. And he says, as soon as everything is okay, I promise that I'm gonna go back and get them. So that's what happens. And one of the things that we see in the first couple panels is the Human Torch. He's like coming down like a comet, right? And you're thinking, like, is he coming to, to join up with them? But lo and behold, he is actually zombified already, right? So he plows right into the ship and they eventually escape. Then we get a little time skip, right? We get a time skip in the sense of we're not too sure how many years have passed, but what we do know is that we can look at Peter Parker, right? He has a beard. He has some kind of injury on one of his eyes, and Valeria is taller. But the question is, Franklin looks pretty much the same. So there is a hint into something that happened to his powers, right? But Spider-Man knows, but the rest of them don't know, right? And he's not aging. Why is he still a little boy? But Valerie has aged up a little bit. So they're going through the forest, right? This is a time skip. And there's a couple of members on their team, right? Forge from the X-Men is on their team. Uh, Valerie, and one other character. I forgot her name. She has light manipulation and other kind of powers, right? And Nana is there too. Now, Nana is my favorite character in this book, right? She's my favorite character in this book. And you might be wondering who is Nana, right? At first, when I was reading a couple panels, I was like, Nana, who's Nana, right? So, Nana is a reprogrammed Sentinel, right? Made, reprogrammed with the mission, right, to protect Franklin Richards, right? That's his job to protect Franklin. And it seems like Nana, and I'm gonna say she, right? Even as the Sentinel, she was repurposed by Peter Parker. I believe it was Peter Parker, if not Valeria. I said Valerie earlier. It's Valeria Richards, right? I'm just now remembering. I thought about Doctor Doom for 1 second, and I was like Valeria, because I was thinking about Von Doom. Doctor Doom is not in the book though. But and as you know, Valeria is one of the smartest beings, smartest humans on the whole entire planet. Uh, she was only second and third to, her father, Doctor Doom, T'Challa, Tony Stark, and all of them, right? That's the core horde. But I think she is, it kind of wavers, thin and wavers between her being the smartest being on the planet, right? Now, one of the things is that they're going through and they come about seeing these zombies, right? Let me just show you. A cool little tidbit is as they're traveling, you see them traveling here, right? Forge, he has the visor of Cyclops, right, on his kind of gun. But it isn't, it's weird because it's not like it's Cyclops' head, even though it has something of the nature, but if you look at the back, he has some kind of containment unit that probably it's either powering the skull to shoot out the optic beams. I'm not too sure. I have some theories about that, but it's not really important enough for the story, right? He basically has the head, he has the skull and visor of Cyclops on his blast, right? Um, and they also, I failed to mention they have Chewie with them. Chewie, if you don't know who Chewie is, if you watch the Captain Marvel movie and you've seen the cat, right? The cat has the ability to basically devour anything. And the reason why it has the power to devour everything, right? As you can see, it's devouring the zombies. The reason why it has that ability is, well, not the reason why, but just kind of give you a powers discuss a little bit or abilities discuss is that that cat is a specific type of alien, and when it devours anything, it all of what it devours goes into pocket dimensions, right? So literally a pocket dimension. That's why it could seemingly eat anything and not get really big because it's being transported into a whole nother pocket dimension of just something, right? So then we get Nightcrawler. This is a cool scene because Nightcrawler is just an amazing character, and to see him in this format over here, in terms of being zombified and just teleporting over the place, he already came out. His torso was already gone, right? And that's all he really needs, right? He's like teleporting. He's already undead. He doesn't need his feet. He's teleporting all over the place to move, and he just looks like pretty beast, right? Like literally, he looks like amazing. And as they're about to, uh, it's seeming like they can't get to Nightcrawler, right? And then Nana comes out, and here's Nana, right? Nana comes out, and she blasts him, and she was like, she has a British accent, right? And she's like dreadful things, and they're talking to Nana, and one of the things that Franklin really likes Nana, right? He treats her as like a real person. She is just programmed, so I'm not too sure where it falls in line of the artificial intelligence and sentience of her, but I'm I'm in line with following Franklin, right? I'm saying her, and it's just cool to see a Sentinel who's kind of like a nanny, right? I don't know. I think that's pretty awesome a little bit. So one of the things is that they asked Nana why was she so late, and Nana says, "Well, I was surveillance in the area, right, and just making sure. But I found something, Master Forge, right?" And she's talking about Forge, and they come across the X Mansion. Right, and Spider-Man looks at Forge and he's like, "What the hell is this? You mean to tell me we've been traveling and you led us to this area? You purposely did this. We didn't just like lead up to the X Mansion." So Forge is like, "Chill, Peter," and I did this on purpose, basically, right? But it's because they could get resources in order to help them on their journey. Where's their journey going? I don't know. It's just basically to be safe. So they get there and they're traveling, right? Pretty cool, right? They're traveling. And then they get inside of the X Mansion and they're kind of reliving like better times, right? When the kids used to play outside and Peter's like, this place got like bombed like 50 times, right? And we know that as the readers, right? Um, and we're traveling, I'm forgetting her name, honestly, but it's okay because something happens later on. So they get in there and they notice that there isn't a lot of resources that they thought would be in there, and there's actually other human beings that are there too. And it's like, question, they're they seem to be trapped there, right? They didn't seem like they could leave freely as wanted. And as we're transitioning through the panels, right, and the pages, we come across Beast of the X-Men, and he's ravaging through different members of what seems to be a sacrifice of sorts, right? So basically, those humans that were there in the X Mansion, they were being used to feed Beast, right? And and such forth. So they're trying to talk to Beast. They're trying to tell him there has to be a cure. You must understand this. And seemingly Beast can understand. And he's like, cure? Um, he's basically like the cure is like getting to you guys, right? It's like killing you or turning them rather, not killing them, right? Letting them become undead. And Beast is doing a really good job of like really holding his own by himself. And you remember he's agile. He has super strength to a specific degree, right? He's in like Hulk strong, but he has super strength, and they're trying to reason with him, but he's not reasoning. And it comes to the conclusion, right? Especially Nana describes this, that all of the zombies that are here share a hive mind. So they're not too sure if the actual hive mind placed different members in important places. For example, the X mansion, so that the basically the hive can know where they are, right? Such as like Franklin, Spider-Man, Forge, and the rest of them, right? So it's pretty amazing. So then we get Chewie. Chewie comes out, and he basically just devours half of Beast, right? And all that's left is a head. So as the head is basically there, I'm just going to read you these quick couple of panels. Frank, he said, you were on the Galactus mission with our family. Where are they? The Galactus mission is what they're referring to in the one shot, right? When they saw Galactus coming to the planet and noticing that there was a hollow area. So Franklin's like, where's my family? Right, bro? And B says, Franklin Richards, most beloved of the eighth pillar. And I'm like, what? You were stolen from us. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And then he continues and he says, your family is with him. He whose hunger will cleanse all worlds. They wait for you. And it's like, what are you talking about, bro? And he says, your parents wait for you there, Franklin. Come and see, right? So they probably just mean back in the city that they need to go to, right? So I forgot her name again. She blasts him. She disintegrates um, his face, right? And as they're talking, right, it's Moonstone. Moonstone is the character. So Moonstone is basically like, I'm out of here. This is not what I signed up for, right? This is you all trying to go back to the city is like a death trap in its own. So she leaves, right? And Peter says, and at this point, remember, Peter's not the Peter that we knew, right? He's been through a lot, right? He's kind of rugged, he's kind of roguish and a little bit, but he still stands to his mission to make sure he's taking care of Valeria and Franklin, because that's what he promised the parents, right? Of Sue and of Reed. So they go outside. Moonstone goes outside. She goes about her own way. Peter tries to stop her, but she's like, "No, I got this. I know what I'm doing." And as we're transitioning, right, we kind of get some memories from Spider-Man as he's holding his own, right, looking for Franklin and Valeria, right, and noticing that the family has already turned at that point. This is a past memory that he's reliving, right? Um, and going along, one of the things that we see a little bit later on is as he's trying to go later on, Peter tries to go, and then he notices that Moonstone has turned. She literally left for about 5 minutes, and she turned. Right, she should have stayed with the team. And Moonstone is about to do whatever she's about to do to the rest of them, right? And she notices that her left hand is cut off, sliced, and you're probably wondering who sliced her off her hand, because Spider-Man is not slicing off her hand. Nana's not slicing off her hand because Nana had used her. I mean, Moonstone used her abilities on Nana a while ago, so she's a little bit she's down for the count, right? And lo and behold, who do you think did it? I'll give you some time to think. In five, four, three, two, Blade. Blade sliced off her hand, and what he says next is like, oh, this team is kind of legit a little bit. He says, before this one showed up, talking about Moonstone, I overheard the others to saying that they're going to the Galactus Hive, right? The Galactus Hive is where Galactus is. He says room for one more, meaning that he wants to join the team. And I'm like, oh snap, because Blade looks kind of legit. And for me, he fits this story really well. It's not vampires, but like slaying zombies. Yeah, that's about right for Blade, right? And the next chapter is called The Phalanx Wall, right? And I'm like, the phalanx wall? That already sounds intense because the phalanx is a artificial intelligent alien race that will consume and basically turn anyone into the phalanx. So I'm a little bit confused by that because if the phalanx uh, is part of this, then it's like, is it zombies and the phalanx, zombie like phalanxes? Then that's a little bit like too much because it's now we're thinking about integration on a technological scale with of artificial intelligence. Well, it's not artificial, it is a form of intelligence, right? So this was Marvel Zombies. If I was to rate this book, right, what would I give it? Hmm, I don't know, but I'm gonna bring in the chat and I'm gonna do my shout out. So shout out to Unknown Phantom 269. Shout out to Sim Comics and more. Shout out to Steven. Yeah, the 24-hour stream is coming. It's coming. So if I was to rate this book team, I would definitely give it I would give it a 7 out of 10. It's solid. It's a solid story. I was hyped for Nana, right? That was my favorite character from this book, right? You could tell it wasn't Moonstone because I didn't even remember her name for like most of this reaction. But it's pretty cool. Pretty cool book. I'm in terms of my hype to read number two out of five, I'm definitely gonna give it a 4. I do want to know what happens next. It was a 7, but I just feel like the reason why it's a 7. Let me explain why it was 7. It was a 7 because there was a lot of areas where I just didn't know the pre-story. We still don't know how Galactus even got zombified. What is creating, what's turning everyone, right? And I thought by now at least we would get some hint into what's going on. Yeah, Slim Comics and more. It's a okay book. It isn't like, whoa, I have to read this next week. It's a okay book, but I do want to know what happens next. I want to know because like Blade is on the team. They leave you with enough questions where you're saying, oh, I do want to know what happens next, right? So in particular, we don't know why Franklin is still young. Right? We don't know why he doesn't have his powers because we know Franklin Richards' powers. Like he could have finished this whole thing off, right? Oh, there's a whole bunch of zombies. Hold on, forget it. Everyone is good to go, right? Um, well, he can't really. I mean, he can do that, but he has to have the mental state to say like that. But why is he still young? I don't know. Why does he have his powers? I don't know. Why is Nana so cool? I don't know either. I kind of like the repurposing of the Sentinel, right? As you can see, I really like Nana, and I like that she has a British accent because in my head, while I was reading it, I had a British accent in my head, a nice lady's voice, in my head as Nana when I was reading. So I thought that was pretty cool. So uh, yeah, I would give it I would, my hype for it would be a 4. Not my hype, my questioning to read the next one would be a 4. But in terms of my rating for this book, it is a 7 out of 10. So shout out to Johnson, Kirk, and Rosenberg for bringing us Marvel Zombies. Is it a deceased? No, it's not a deceased, but I don't think it was meant to do a copying of deceased, right? Because Marvel Zombies already had uh, Marvel Zombies before Deceased, right? It's just its own different story in the Marvel scale, and they actually call these guys zombies, right? I think in Deceased they call them the anti-life, you know, anti-life undead or something, or they call them the blighted ones, right? The blighted ones. So guy with the camera, what's going on? Guy with the camera says, do you think it's gonna end gonna be involved with Thor run, with Thanos having control of the zombies? Yes. So I'm glad that you brought up because now we could talk a little bit about theories, right? So at the end of the Thor run, and if you're not too sure about the Thor run, what that basically is I said is like a whole bunch. Uh, the the Black Winter, right? Which was originally unknown to us was coming to our universe. And what was happening with the Black Winter is Thor wasn't too sure, but Galactus came to Asgard and he was fallen to Asgard. It's so funny that he was fallen because in the one shot Galactus was fallen too. And he was fallen to Asgard and he needed help, right? It seemed like he already had been in a battle. And Thor comes over and was like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? This is my kingdom. Like, what are you doing? And because Thor's not really scared, is not scared. He doesn't care how powerful you are. It's like I have to protect my people. And he's the All Father at this point anyway. So he's pretty capable. So Galactus says to him, that I need you. I need you, son of Odin. And he's like, for what? Right? And he says the Black Winter is coming. And he basically tells him that the Black Winter will consume the whole entire universe, right? All the people. And he basically says, I need your help. So he turns Galactus into a herald. But at that point, it's kind of like, well, I just gave you more power. I gave you power cosmic, but he's not really a herald. He's a herald, but Thor is like, I'm doing my own thing with your whatever you just gave me. So do what you want. But the help that he needed in order to fight the Black Winter, which is a real threat. It isn't like some joke threat, like, oh, someone's coming, right? It's like, no, the Black Winter is coming. It's gonna consume everything. And there's another thing that I wanted to talk about, but I won't go into too much. But basically, uh, Galactus has to consume a whole bunch of planets, secret planets that we've never known about, right? That the Silver Surfer has hid from him, and that's what Silver Surfer Black has told him, right? Um, or the Fallen One, or whatever they want to call him, and said like, I hid some planets for him that if he was to consume these planets, he would become astronomically more powerful than he currently is, and that way he could fight off the Black Winter. So they go off, Thor and Galactus go off, and they eat those planets, right? And this all makes sense into zombies resurrection. That's why, and I'm so glad the guy with the camera brought this up. And so they go to consume those worlds. Boom, boom, boom. Beta Ray Bill comes in. He's like, "What the hell are you doing? What are you doing, Thor? What are you like? Like, bro, back away." And Thor's like, "No, I can't." And then Beta Ray Bill is like, "Whatever. Then I'm gonna fight you, brother. Step aside." And they fight each other. Beta Ray Bill doesn't win. Sif comes out because Lady Sif is the new Heimdall, so she opens up the Rainbow Bridge. She comes down and she's like, "Thor, chill, like hold on." And Beta Ray Bill, let's go. So they go about their business, and Galactus becomes all powerful, right? Not all powerful, but he gets that power boost that he needed, right, to fight off the Black Winter. The Black Winter comes. The Black Winter is basically just this essence. It just looks like an essence, right, of just like blackness and darkness. And it comes, and it basically is beating down Galactus, right? I'm skipping a whole bunch of things, right? Just for the sake of the video. And eventually there's a point where Thor is talking to Galactus and he's like, I'll take care of this, right? And he's like, I got this because you don't, Galactus. And at this point, he there's a part, I'm skipping a lot and I'm kind of going like back and forth, right? Go out and read that the storyline. It's good. It's really good. And Thor basically siphons off all of the rest of the power from Galactus because he gets beaten down to the point where it's like bro, like you're basically a skeleton and I got this, right? So one of the things that we see is Galactus being not consumed but absorbed by Thor, and Thor is about to go against, finalize his fight with the Black Winter, right? Because there's a point where the Black Winter, and here's the main point about the story that kind of flips everything upside its head. The Black Winter says, "I'm actually just here for Galactus. I'm not here for this universe." And it's like, what? So this whole entire time you weren't here for them? And the Black Winter's like, yeah, I'm here because he's my herald. So apparently, and those of you who know the background of Galactus and him using Lifebringer 1 to come from his universe to our universe, and then he becomes the devourer of worlds. Basically what happened was he was already supposed to be a herald by the Black Winter. The Black Winter uh, you know, gave him the power cosmic, and he started his incubation to then become Galactus. But Galactus was like, I'm out. So he left the universe, right? He left the universe, came to our universe, and he started his own kind of journey of making others his heralds, right? So this is not a retcon, it's just an addition into the story. But skipping along, Thor beats uh Thor decimates Galactus, and he also beats the Black Winter into the point where it comes as a black snowflake. And as it falls in Thor's hand, the Black Winter says and whispers, "Would you like to know how you die?" Because a preface to all of this is that Galactus's death came by the image of Thor, which it did come to fruition. But apparently, the Black Winter, which also looks like Thor, which is kind of weird, like a dark shadow version of him, also says, "Do you want to know how you die?" And before the snowflake dissipates, Thor is like, "Yes." And then we get a scene with a really amazing, I said scene because it felt like a scene. We get a panel with Thanos holding Thor's hammer with all of the Infinity Stones embedded into the hammer, and he also has another gauntlet, and the gauntlet, it's dark and shadowy figure. And to me, I could be totally wrong about this. It seems to be like a gauntlet of like it's embedded with all of the symbiote based energy, right? From uh Null, the symbiote god. I could be totally wrong about that part, right? But anyway, behind Thanos, and this is leading into I went off, right? The guy with the camera said, like, how does that connect, right? Or do I think it connects? Because in the background of Thanos, while he's holding the hammer embedded with the Infinity Stones and that gauntlet, behind him is a whole legion of different zombies, right? Marvel zombies. So now the question is, do I think it's linked together? I kind of do. I think it's linked together. Now I could be totally wrong, and the reason why I think I might be wrong is because certain parts would be retconned a little bit if they were to just move forward with a linked story. The first being that Thor, once he is explaining how he died to Silver Surfer, this is later on in the story, by the Rainbow Bridge, right? He has the helmet of Galactus sitting there by where Lady Sif is, right? Where Heimdall used to be. Um, so, but in the beginning of in the one shot from Marvel Zombies, there is a hand. There is he. What I'm saying is that Galactus is on his way to the planet with his helmet. It's still intact, and also it also seemed like when Thor siphoned off all of the power to use it in combination with his Odin force or Thor force in this case, it seemed as if the he blew up Galactus. So that's what's leading me to kind of like steer away from the zombies portion. But what could also happen is that we're looking at two different universes, and Thanos probably tapped into the Marvel Zombies universe and brought them to our current universe. I don't know. He probably used some kind of reality to do that. I could be totally wrong about that, but I would love to believe that there's some kind of linkage. But because of those little plot threads, such as the helmet of Galactus being in the Rainbow Bridge uh, by Heimdall, Lady Sif, where she is, it kind of throws me off a little bit to think maybe they're not connected, right? So I hope I answered that question. I know I went off. Any other questions, team? What are your thoughts about have any of you read Marvel Zombies? And if so, do you think what do you think about it, right? Are you gonna go out and read it? And that could be a simple yes or no, right? Probably like, I don't know. I'm probably just gonna wait for you then to review the next one, and that's cool too. Uh, but don't forget to drop that like. YouTube is being very weird. Sorry, YouTube, I have to say this because you're wilding out. Yesterday, some of you dropped likes on the videos and YouTube took them away. The reason why I know is because there at a point yesterday there were 6 likes, and then when I look back there were 3 likes. Unless some of you were just like, nah, chill. I don't like this videos then. but I don't think that's the case because yeah, something else. It happened on another video too. So let me see. Guy with the camera said, "Well, didn't Black Panther take control of the zombies during Secret Wars? Could Thanos do the same?" Yes, he absolutely could do the same because, as you know, Black Panther. Uh, well, yes, but was it because of the? I'm not too sure about this, so don't quote me on this. I could be totally wrong. I thought the reason why Black Panther could take control of the zombies is because his powers were a little bit augmented with the Panther God, and he was able to control the dead, right? Oh, but I see what you mean, right? Because if he has the Reality Stones, he had the Reality Stones and the the Soul Stone. In some way, he should be able to control them. I do think so. I see why not, right? I just wonder if I'm correct about the gauntlet that he has, right? I want to bring up a picture of you for you guys so that you guys could see a visual image of what the hell I'm talking about, right? So give me a second. But I didn't even do my intro today, guys, so I got you. It's not an intro now, it's a midtro. I'll be right back. Boom.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see.
I'm back. Did I find the picture fast enough? Nope. I did it. I typed in Thor's death and it didn't come up. I think I put in, oh, I found it. It just took me a little bit more time, just a little bit more time, right? So I found it and I'm going to show you the picture. That was a great question because I didn't think about it until you asked me the question. So here it is, team. Uh, this is an epic image, right? So you could see that uh, if Thanos is controlling the zombies, is someone controlling Thanos? And that's what I was thinking too, right? Um, in the back of my head, because all right, you see all the zombies in the background, right? You see all of them, and and I don't know, it just seems kind of a little bit wild. Like, what if in Marvel Zombies they said him, right? Like we're reaching here, but maybe we're not reaching. Maybe we're right on task, right? That Thanos is the one that they were speaking to in the book, right? Hold on, team. You guys are getting me hyped now. See, I gotta open this back up because they said him, right? So I wonder if they're talking about Thanos. All right. It says, "He who hungers gathers his armies in the Black Spring, the world behind the world, where endings begin." That's what sorry. That's what Beast is saying to them, right? He's saying that. And then let me go back. He said, "Your family is with him. He whose hunger will cleanse all the worlds. They wait for you." So, I don't know. This picture is making more and more sense now, right? If this is actually the Galactus Hive, right? And maybe what Thor saw was Marvel Zombies, this universe. I don't know. My head is like, what? What? So this is kind of hype now. Appreciate you, guy with the camera, because this is why I like when you guys ask questions, because now it only brings in a whole lot of thought, right? Into the possibility. And then shout out to you, Slim Comics, some more, saying if Thanos is controlling the zombies, is someone controlling Thanos? Because now there's a bigger aspect behind this, right? Is the picture that we're looking at Thanos that is in control, or is he being controlled? And the reason why I'm now thinking that he may be controlled is because if we look at the Black Gauntlet, it seems as if Thanos had fought in some type of way, right? What's going on? I collect a lot. No, it's cool. It's cool. We're man, some of the theories that are popping out are kind of really plausible and kind of hyping me up. But if you look at the arm, the left arm, right, with the black gauntlet, it seemed like he kind of fought, right? Or as if it was almost forced on him, right? So I wonder if I'm questioning that crystal that's embedded in the gauntlet itself. Like, what is that? I've never seen this gauntlet before. Have you all seen this gauntlet before? I keep thinking that it's from Null, right? Like some kind of symbiote type of inspiration, or maybe it's a something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But as we see in that picture, like all the Infinity Stones are in um, one ear, right? Thor's hammer, and then we have this gauntlet that has this one single um gem, right? Is that like the zombie gem, right? Is it the undead type of, or like the dead type of stone, right? Infinity stone, like another infinity stone. I don't know. What do you all think it is? Or I'm really starting to think that this Thor Thor's story, what Thor saw at the end in terms of his death, and Zombie's resurrection does have some kind of linkage together. I wonder if that's why they were waiting, right? And this is a 1 out of 4, so this is a short story, but usually the way it's going, it doesn't seem like it could end super quick, right? What it seems like it's going to do is it's going to end at 4 to introduce a story of something beyond, right? I don't know. What do you all think? I'm gonna wait for you guys to tell me because I'm kind of hyped. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm kind of hyped about this now. I don't know what to think because now I'm wondering. All right, see, I still give this book I still give this book a 7 out of 10, and my hype, my wanting to know what happens next is still a 4 out of 5, right? And but it's kind of crossing over because now I kind of want to know a little bit more about the story itself. So I don't know. Uh, I like how we kind of deep dive. Guy with the camera said, "What if it's like some kind of new slash old Infinity Stone to help the user to master control the Infinity Stones?" Oh, I see what you mean. So it's kind of like a master type of stone, right? In order to control the others, right? To control the other stones more efficiently and effectively, right? So yeah, this could be a stone that, because you remember, right? Even though we have the old stories, they're probably not going to retcon the old stories. They're just going to add on to what we already know, right? Kind of like the whole Moira McTaggart thing, right? She was always there, but now we found out she was actually a mutant, right? So with this, we could find out like there was another stone this whole entire time, and actually some of these items were meant to be combined together, right? Um, so I collect a lot said, trying to think how this ties into Thanos wins. Uh-huh. I'm not too see, I think that story, I'm not too keen on that story, right? I'm not too familiar. That's a better word. Uh, yeah. So I'm not too sure how it would tie in. I wish I know because it probably could open up my neurons a little bit to know. Unknown Phantom said, I have a fight. Okay, hold on, Unknown Phantom. You have to give us something that's along the storylines of Marvel Zombies, right? So that we're on topic. I don't want to go off because you know I'm gonna go off, right? Uh, so I collect a lot. Seems like the stone controls the dead, right? It does seem like that. It gives off that type of flow. Evan, what's going on, Evan? Appreciate you. Thanks for coming out. So yeah, it's ah, but to the guy with the camera said to continue with my question because isn't the Infinity Stones came from God, well, or whatever it's called, that Loki wants and saw the other stones stop working? Um, I can't remember. I can't. I feel like I know what you're talking about, but then I don't at the same time. To continue my question, because isn't the Infinity Stones came from God? Well, or because the Infinity Stones, correct me if I'm not too sure. Were the Infinity Stones created by the one above all in order to have some kind of like fragments of the universe, and then they were separated? Am I right in saying that? I feel like now I don't know anything about the stories, especially like the origins. I have to go back to my Marvel histories, right? My Marvel history stories that explain the history of the Marvel universe, and they explain like the Mcron crystal, right? The Infinity. It was an Infinity Watch event. Oh, okay, that's why I don't know. Because I didn't watch. I watched. I didn't read the Infinity Watch event, right? A lot of the stories, it's I feel bad now. A lot of the stories dealing with Thanos, I'm just now getting into, right? Which is kind of weird, like really, really weird, right? Yeah, but I didn't read the Infinity Watch. Now you're making me want to go back and kind of like flow through. Hmm. Uh, so yeah, guys. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm loving the questions because now I now have a affinity to read the next book to make some kind of links together. Stephen, what's going on? Thanos. Indeed. You put Thanos. So yeah, this is Marvel Zombies. This one picture, I'm gonna remember this now. And here's the thing. If we were right, if everything we said were is right, we were right. We were right here first, right? We could always come back to the video and be like, "No, I asked this question. Zen said X, Y, and Z. I asked even more questions, and we all, as a community, came up with a big spoiler." A gigantic spoiler. If this is correct, that means that there is a linkage, right? Well, there's a couple of things, right? We kind of went back and said, well, I said that there's a possibility based on guy with the camera asked the question, do I think there's a linkage into what we saw at the end of the Thor run, right? In terms of his death, right? And this was the picture of his death. There's a whole lot of Marvel zombies in the background, and we see a whole lot of zombies. And what Beast is saying inside of this book, he says him, right? It's not like, because usually, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone, if there's a hive mind, the hive mind doesn't refer to itself as a him or a her, right? This is the first time I've ever heard a hive mind basically say, it usually a hive mind usually says we, or the hive, right? It doesn't refer to it, it doesn't refer to another person. So in this case, I'm thinking all of the zombies are a hive mind, but they're following the lead of Thanos, and he's the person that Beast was referring to when he said him, and he said the worlds, right? Because now I'm wondering if the worlds is maybe, I don't know, Thanos is wilding out doing like his what he does, right? Let me see. Wonder what type of Hulk are we gonna get if he's infected? I know, right? Especially when you think about a mortal Hulk combined with like infected zombie, that's just kind of like, aren't you kind of like already as not a zombie, but like nothing could kill you, right? So imagine the mortal Hulk combined with a zombie. Now here's the question, right? I'm still thinking about this. This has always been in the back of my head, right? Now in the same Thor run, right? If you all remember the first couple of panels, right? Do you all remember the scenes that look like the Black Winter had went into the DC universe when we saw the silhouettes of the green, the red, and then the black representing the Flash, Green Lantern, Superman, and also Batman, right? Do you all remember that? And that's when everyone was talking about there is going to be a big crossover, which then leads into a deeper concept of uh, the whole the whole Dr. Manhattan thing at the end of their run, right? So anyway, because there's like a brand new Dr. Manhattan, right? A little boy named Clark or Kent, which I forgot which one it is, right? And I collect a lot says so far in continuity, Thanos is still dead, right? Yeah, he's Died in Guardians of the Galaxy, the Cates run. Yes, issue 2 is hot because of that theory. Yeah, yeah. He's still dead, or he did come back to life in some type of way, but he then they put him down again, right? Didn't he come back as like a? And I didn't finish the run. Didn't he come back as like this? He wasn't himself, for lack of better words, right? He was just kind of like a grueling type of like instinctful type of being, right? Because they weren't able to do the what they wanted to do properly. I didn't finish the run though, so um, I think I was reading it, and then Silver Surfer Black came out, and I was like, "That's my run," and I started reading it. I read that really well. I read that a lot. I love the Surfer Black, which then leads into a whole bunch of other things that I'm like, that was my first introduction to no the symbiote god, actually, like my first time like really getting to know the character and getting to know more about the origin stories of Galactus and Lifebringer 1, and also Ego the Living Planet, which was pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like a lot of these books are linking together though, a lot of them, and I'm wondering, is this leading up to some ultimate big crossover event? Right? Like, are we like what's going on? What are they preparing for, right? What are they preparing for? All right, guys. I want you to buzz your questions in the chat because I still want to keep going, right? I'm just gonna get some water. I'm gonna drop that intro. Boom.
You will never amount to
Well,
anything.
actually the mitro. It's not really a intro anymore because I played everything really late, but I'll be back.
We shall see, brother.
All right, I'm back. All right, so before we ask any questions, right? There are some books I didn't review yet. You know what I'm. Some of you who were here yesterday, you know what I'm about to do. Okay, it makes. I agree with you. I collect a lot. It makes comics beautiful when I don't. They're not initially made to connect, but then we start doing what we're doing right now, asking questions, coming up with theories, linking them together, and then all the stories start to just make like not, I wouldn't say they start to make sense in our head canon, but it's even more beautiful when the head canon is correct, right? So guy with camera says, wonder if Wolverine made it out. That's what I'm saying, right? And because now if you're reading the X comic books, right? If you're reading the X-Men comic books and you're reading his run, apparently his blood can make undead like vampires, right? So it would seem. Oh, hold on. Well, at least if our theories are correct, team, Wolverine didn't make it, and here's why. Here's Wolverine right here. He seems to be a zombie, which is that's kind of weird now that I think about it. So if we're correct in saying that Marvel Zombies Resurrection connects with what Thor saw in terms of his death, right? This is kind of weird now. We see the Hulk, right? We see the Sentry. I see is that Medusa above the Hulk? I see Cable, but that looks like Old Man Cable. Huh. I wonder if this is just like we could be wrong, we could be right, right? Or we could be right in saying that this is gonna happen. This is a possible version of what is gonna happen, right? Not an absolute version, right? I see Black Bolt, or this could be just the Marvel's Zombies universe, right? I mean, Thanos does love death, so it makes sense for him to control the dead, right? Huh. The reason why I'm kind of like, isn't Black Bolt not really is Black Bolt still a dead? I said it's still a dead. Is he still dead? No, I mean, is he? Because I believe Black Bolt made it out. He had his throat messed up, right? And he still has a certain aspect of his ability, like whispering, like he could like and still do something, right? I don't know. I collect said too much of a coincidence this book is coming out around the same time. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They're releasing it like right around now, and we just ended with this, right? We ended with this picture and this panel with the Thor run. So it's like it is kind of weird that it just came out in Marvel Zombies. And Marvel Zombies is only a 4 issue run. Why did they wait so long to release this, right? And usually short 4 issue runs are usually building up to something more, right? Uh Not usually, not all the time, but in this case it seems to be plausible that it is building up to something, right? Marvel Zombies Resurrection, and what are they preparing for, right? I don't know. I don't know, team. All right, so I'm gonna run through the books that I got from my pickers for Wednesday. Uh, and you all tell me which book would you like to see me do a reaction review. Now, I haven't read the next couple of books, right? I haven't read them purposely, but after today, I'll read the rest. uh, and even though I know about the Wolverine, I didn't actually read the Wolverine. Guy with the camera says, I think they came out with Marvel Zombies because of the Funko Pop series. You're probably 100% correct, right? And because you know when shows or comic books come out, they release the toy version so they can make more money, right? Kind of like when Transformers, right, came out on Netflix. They released the Transformers so that they could release Hasbro could release new figures, and those figures look amazing too, right? I actually really enjoyed that Transformers Siege that premiered on Netflix. Side note. But all right, let me know. So it's gonna be the first person in the chat to drop the book after I say go. So I have to show you all the books first before you let me know which one you want me to do uh, a reaction review to. Okay, so we have Aliens, the original screenplay. These are all the books that I got. Yesterday I did it on another book. I have Cable, right? And I have Dead Planet. Love this book. I haven't read it, but I know I'm gonna love it. Deceased Dead Planet. We have New Mutants, number 12. We have Wolverine, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Empire. I love this cover. Avengers, Fantastic Four. And I already did this review yesterday, so check it out. Also check to see if your likes were unliked because YouTube. And then we have Captain Britain, right? Actually, I didn't say this yesterday, but I'll put this in the list, right? I'll do a quick if you guys want it. So out of all those books, which one would you like to see me do a rundown and a review? I mean, a reaction review to? Ready, set, go. The first person to pick is the one that I'm going to do it for. So we're waiting for the whoever picked first. That's it. You have to drop the name, and that's the book I'm going to do. That's how I have my my subscriber participation. Let me see. Let's see. What's the book that's going to pop up? Dead Planet. Slim Comics and More got it. Dead Planet it is. Dead Planet it is. So the next book I'm gonna do is on Dead Planet, and let me bring it out. Let me bring out this bad boy. I haven't read it. I'm surprised I haven't read it yet because it is out of all the books. I know that one is my main pickup for the week that I got. Right. So we are reviewing Dead Planet tomorrow. Tom Taylor is the man. I collect a lot. You said Wolverine. So maybe next time I'm gonna do Wolverine, right? I may have to do these on. I'm not too sure when I'm gonna do these reviews, right? But you'll see it in the. Make sure, team, you hit the notification bell, right, so that you know when videos are coming. Uh, I'm probably gonna do it tomorrow, right? Around 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Now I have a schedule for tomorrow for another form of content, but that's a video game content. But for more reaction reviews, tomorrow we're gonna keep the same time frame, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for all of it. In terms of my schedule for the week, team, I'm gonna drop that in the chat right now so that you guys know my schedule. Even if you hit the notification, the notification bell, sometimes YouTube acts up, right? And I want to make sure that all of you know when I'm coming out with brand new content. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to go back, but of course, I'm seeing a whole bunch of these troll messages from these hot girls, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. I love you. I need a boy. Yeah, I was like, come on, come on, come on, come on, fake troll, get out of here. Here's the schedule for the week, team. Uh, well, I can't fit all of them. So Monday through Tuesday is going to be reaction reviews. Wednesday, we are having new comic book day and open debate. So those of you who want to hop on, if you're 18 years old or older, right? I'm going to do it through StreamYard. I'm going to do my new comic book day. And after the new comic book day, I'm just going to lead right into some debate. So those of you who want to jump on, you could jump on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to jam out. We're going to talk about those comic books that we got and even talk about these theories because some of these, I know if I was talking to you guys directly, you would probably bring out brand new thoughts out of my head too. I was gonna put it in the chat, but YouTube gave me a limit. YouTube, but here it is though. I can't even put anything. I'll just put. Come on, YouTube. I only could put a couple. But anyway, that's all I got because that's all I can fit. But anyway, team, I'm gonna jump out of here. I'm gonna be gaming a little bit later, because part of the schedule is on Fridays. I'm gonna start doing. Originally, I was doing Super Mario Maker, but now I'm gonna do horror games, right? So I'll be streaming in about probably an hour. I'll be streaming a horror game. So if you guys want to come hang out, watch me play a horror game, probably help me through the game too. Do that at about in 1 hour, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, hit the notification bell because it isn't on the schedule for tomorrow, but I'm going to do the Deceased reaction review. And yeah, I'll see you all later. This is Zen from Zen World saying peace, love, and prosperity. If you're enjoying the content, drop me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share the video with like-minded people on Instagram and all kind of social media types. And check out yesterday's video if you haven't. And if you enjoyed it, yeah. With that being said, take care, everyone. And yes, have a great weekend, everyone. A good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and eat some good food.